Good morning. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm outside with the birds and the bees and the trees and the sun and everything else. Good morning. How we feeling? How we doing? Good morning. Good morning. Come on in so we can chat. Come on in so we can talk. Hey friends. Good morning. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? I'm on time today. I'm only 6 minutes late. We're doing great. Come on in, friends. Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Good morning. Y'all know how we do. It's Friday morning. It's Wellness Happy Hour. We're coming on here to check in on each other, okay? To have the conversations, to talk about the things, to have a safe space, to have good morning, Alexis, to have a time, okay? I want you to leave it live and say, a time was had, okay? Every single week, a time was had. So how are we doing? What is it? June is almost over. I feel like June just got here. I feel like 2024. It's not going, you go to church and the pastor say, I'm not going to be before you long. That's how 2024 feel. It's not going to be before us long, okay? It's giving. It's about to be a blessed day. I love that. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. 2024 is saying, yeah, you ain't got a lot of time. You ain't got a lot of time. Whatever you trying to do. Matter of fact, let's just check in. We're mid-year. We are almost to the midpoint of this year. So let's just check in. Let's check in. Let's go back to the beginning of the year. What did you tell yourself you were going to accomplish this year? What did you tell yourself you were going to do? Who did you tell yourself you were going to be this year? And let's check in. Because 2024 is halfway out of here. So where are we on those goals? Because, we start the year, we always say, this going to be my year. 24 is my year. Every year's been your year. But has the year been one that you want? Every year is your year. Every season is your season. But are you making it worth your while? Are you making good use of your time? That's the question. So let's check in. Good morning. Tell me how you doing. And then tell me, you made some promises to yourself at the top of this year. How are you making on them promises? What goals did you say you was going to achieve? I'm going to do this in 2024. How are you doing on those goals? Who did you say you was going to be? What shit did you say you was going to stop doing? And are you still doing it? That's what I want to know. Because January is gone. It's Cancer season. Hello to the crybabies, okay? Hello to the criers of the zodiac, along with Pisces. It is Cancer season. It is all things, the condition of your home, your physical home and your body home. It is all things self-care. How well am I taking care of myself? We also have the full moon in Capricorn, which is also inviting us to confront our patterns and behaviors that keep us in a state of self-sacrificing, that keep us in a state of, if I could just do this and achieve that goal, I can forego my self-care to achieve the goal. I can forego taking care of myself to get the thing done. So yeah. So welcome to Crybabies, and welcome this full moon energy of checking yourself, and what part of doing, working, and achieving is keeping you from being able to take care of yourself. Okay, I'm on track. The year started slow, in all caps, but I picked it up. Quite proud of myself, Christy. I must say, you've been doing the damn thing. You've been doing the thing. A shift has transpired. And I'll say this to you. because I said it a little bit to you in your DM, but I want to give you more detail in regards to where I was coming from. It's just, I did not feel like it was the time for me to say it to you, but maybe the time is now because it came back to my spirit in the same fashion. So there is a lightness to you now, literally and physically a lightness to you. I have watched you over the last couple of months release a lot of physical weight, right? My hope is that that is an emotional thing for you as well, that you are coming to a cycle of completion as it pertains to the heaviness of grief, the type of grieving that keeps you weighed down, that keeps you stagnant, that keeps you stuck. My hope is that as you have released physical weight, that you are releasing the emotional heaviness and weight of grief as well. That's my hope for you. That was my energy in saying it in your DM, but you know, it's okay because we'll see you at the retreat. Okay. Said I was going to live in the moment, still a work in progress, but am doing better at it. So tell us, what's the difficulty with living in the moment? What's the challenge there? Because challenges of living in the moment is very, very, very difficult, especially when you are when our experiences in the past, when we let events and things that have happened become a part of our identity. It's very difficult to be in the present moment when what I have experienced and how it has conditioned me to be becomes a part of how I identify as a person. So it's very difficult when there is not a separation between who you are and what you've been through. And it's difficult to be present when anxiety around the future and anxiety. You know, it's crazy. I went and saw Inside Out 2 last night, and it was such a funny but very real depiction of anxiety, where it's like anxiety will have you working in a way to prevent all of these different outcomes and scenarios from happening, as opposed to how can I align myself presently to bring about the future that I want? So where do I want to go? Because anxiety will have you worried about where you don't want to go. What do I need to do to prevent myself from experiencing this or feeling like that? As opposed to what do I do in the present moment to align myself, and how do I get into the flow of things instead of trying to control how the universe is going to unfold? I can just get into the flow. I can just flow in my present day. So now I understand. So tell me about your challenges. Y'all hear these cicadas? Y'all hear these cicadas? The cicadas done came outside. My God, they must be on the other street because they ain't as loud. Reclaiming self and accepting the new and necessary shifts. Crybabies unite. I know that's right. Come on, Cancer season. It's time to cry. It's time to cry, okay? I love that. Reclaiming yourself. What does that look like? And accepting the new and necessary shifts. That's a mouthful right there. We're going to come on back to that. I already know we are. Definitely told myself I was going to stop procrastinating and get in shape, as it's actually a requirement for my career move, and I did not keep up well at all. So what's in the way? You want to know what's in the way? I said this last week. Everything that you want, because not what you need, because as you said, you need to get in shape because it's a requirement, but do you want it? Like you have to decide that it's what you want. You have to get out of I need to do this and into this is what I want to do. And I said this at the healing experience because it can be difficult to try to implement new habits, to try to live in a certain way where you have not decided in your mind that you cannot see in your mind where you're trying to go. You might need it because your job is going to require it, but do you really want it? Do you really want it for yourself? There's a huge energetic difference between I need to do something versus I want to do it. This is what I want to do, because we do what we want to do. So what's in the way? My incense is giving me all the vibes, but it's like, goddamn, it's a little smoky. What's in the way, friend? Not the crybabies. Hell yeah, the crybabies. The crybabies. It is. I'm in such a better space. I sleep better. I eat better. And I love you so much, Kay. I love you too. I love you too. And I'm so glad to hear that. I'm so glad to hear that. And something just came to my spirit again, but I'm not going to mention it. I hope that something happens for you. I hope that something happens for you. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to put that out into the universe. Words are power. I'm going to put that out there. I hope that something happens for you, because I think it would be amazing. The goals I set were shifted and focus had to change. It was needed, and I'm okay with resting, okay with not over committing and saying no. So I say I'm on track to better. And I think that as you bring up a really good point, that it's hard for us to do sometimes, is that you set out with one goal and then you get the understanding that this goal needs to change. I know I wanted to do this because we talked, I don't know if I was talking to you or talking to somebody else, where it's like, I set out the goal, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, whatever the case may be. And then you run into a situation or get some news where it's like, well, damn, what I thought I was going to achieve, what I thought I was going to do has actually been derailed. And in some instances, that can be hard to hear. It can be hard to accept, because we feel like, damn, maybe I'm a failure in some type of way, like whatever the case may be, because I can't achieve said goal, and not giving ourselves the room for the goals to change, for the expectations that we have of ourselves to change. Because just because you have a goal does not mean that that's the direction you're supposed to be going in. Sometimes you get the shift and the pivot because that's what you need. And a lot of the time we aren't aware. We don't know what we need. And then when you get them situations where it's like you got to sit, you're being sat down. You're being sat down. You might just need to lean into that and listen. I just need to sit. I need to sit. I need to sit. It's hard as hell. Because when you don't sit down for yourself, life will sit you down. God will sit you down. You don't know how to sit down. You don't know how to be still. You don't know how to rest. Life is going to catch up with you. Because while you not paying attention to what's going on, you think you can stuff it to the back of your mind. Your body's not the same. Your body's not the same. You can't stuff nothing in your body. Your body is keeping score of everything. You wonder why your back hurt. You wonder why your hips tight. You wonder why your shoulders hurt. You got headaches all the time. Wonder why you got stomach issues. Wonder why you got this. Wonder why you got that. Why you're experiencing such dis-ease in your body. You need to sit down. You need to sit down. Give your body time to release what you've been carrying, the hits that it's been taking, the stress that it's been feeling, the stress that you've been putting it under, child. Because it ain't always about all these external things that are inflicted that we have to deal with. There's also some self-inflicted tension, the self-inflicted stress, the self-inflicted exhaustion. We do that to ourselves. We do that to ourselves. And then wonder why there's so much dis-ease in our body, but also in life. You don't know what ease is. You don't know what relaxed is. You're always on guard. You're hyper vigilant. You over here trying to be an emotional regulator because it makes you feel safe. If I can control the emotions of everyone around me, it makes me feel safe. You ain't tired? My coffee's great. You ain't tired? You aren't tired because you're doing it to yourself. You're doing it to you. My Lord, have mercy. And keep on scrolling. I've leaned in more to freedom and play and not work. Celebrating my small wins and just flowing. Physically, I've changed and I'm okay with that. Still focus on health but not stressing myself. I love that. I absolutely love that. Because I literally was talking to somebody else about their journey. And they set these lofty goals to accomplish this goal physically, to reach this goal weight, to lose this amount of weight, whatever the case may be. And they found themselves in this, I guess, like double dutch, where it's like, man, I'm setting the goal, but we would set the goal and then fall, set the goal and then fall, set the goal and then fall back. And I literally had to pose a question to them to say, is this a proper goal for right now? You're having difficulty committing to this. Is this the goal that you should be striving to reach right now? The cicadas is coming to my street because they loud. They loud. The cicadas said, is that a proper goal? Is that the right goal that you should be working toward? Is flowing better? Because sometimes we get distracted. The goals can be distracting from the real work that we need to do. Like, we set the goal. We're so goal oriented. We're so success driven. We're so accomplishment focused that being gets lost. What we truly need gets lost in the sauce of the doing and the achieving. Because I feel the same. Listen, striving is exhausting. It's so exhausting. It really, truly is. But how y'all doing? We still here. We're checking in because my friends came on here, and June is almost over. The year is halfway done, and we're checking in. How are you doing? How are you doing? Let's check in on these goals that we set at the beginning of the year. You said, self, I'm going to do this year. I'm going to do this in 2024. Where are you with achieving those goals? Some of us had to change our goals, which I love. But where are you? Because some of us needed to come into this year and be a certain type of person. Because some of us are out here saying, you know what? The goal is to lose 20 pounds. The goal is to lose 20 pounds. So the goals are only set in the doing. But we ain't set no goals on, now, what type of person I'm going to have to be to reach that goal. We only focusing on half of the equation, and then we're focusing on the second half of the equation and not the first half of the equation. The first half of the equation is, for me to get to said goal, what type of person, what type of behaviors, what type of patterns and habits and rituals does this person need to have to bring about said goal? We focusing on one half and the second half of the equation. So if you set a goal and you're having challenges reaching it, let's go back to the beginning. What type of person? Because I want to lose 20 pounds, but that comes with me being a disciplined person. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? That comes with you being a disciplined person. If my focus is on being a disciplined person and having the proper habits and behaviors in place, that 20-pound loss gonna come. I don't even have to focus on the 20-pound loss if I'm focusing on how I need to set my shit up to reach the goal. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Some of y'all here confused. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what you want to do, whatever the case may be. You're focusing on, I want to find my purpose. Well, what type of person do I have to be to really understand that? I got to silence some noise. I got to do some healing. I got to stop losing my attention to bullshit. I got to stop talking to certain people. What type of habits do I need to have so that that becomes clear to me? We're focused on the byproduct and not the process. Lord, let me scroll. Okay? I was dedicated to the us. Now I must revert to me. And that looks like shifting my mind and energy to the things my spirit is called to instead of only being committed to the support role. Because when I tell you, the people need help. The people need help. And when you are set up in a certain type of way, when you are a naturally giving person, but you go through certain circumstances that blow, you don't have a threshold anymore. You do not have a threshold for certain things. You go from being a giving person to being a people pleasing person. You are not in the picture anymore. It's hard to see yourself when you're in a people pleasing pattern. Okay, where it comes, everybody else is more important. Making sure that everyone else around you is happy. You know what's crazy? Maybe it's like this interesting vicarious experience. I talked about this before. It's this interesting vicarious experience that a lot of us have, where it's like, when I hear people say, I just like for everyone to be happy. I like for the people that I love to be happy, and whatever the case may be. But you do that at the expense of your own happiness. So maybe would you rather experience happiness that other people are experiencing? Is that how you experience happiness? When you see other people happy, that's when you feel happy? Your desire is to see everyone else happy but yourself. And you do that so that the energy, the happiness energy, can bounce back to you, because energy is not destroyed. It's neither created or destroyed. It's transferred. So you would much rather just make someone else happy so that the energy can be transferred to you. You're going to feel that for a second. That's not yours. That's not yours. That's not your happiness. That's somebody else's. That's not your joy. That's somebody else's. So you want it to boomerang to you for a couple of seconds so that you can feel it. That's the only time that you feel it, because you don't know how to create that for yourself, because you're so busy creating it for somebody else. My God. Okay. All right. What's your learning lesson, friend? Let me know. I feel exposed but so true. Let me know. Give me the details. Because listen, child, I really I don't like that type of behavior for my friends. I don't like that type of behavior for my friends. The cicadas don't like it either. You hear those cicadas? Them cicadas don't like that for you either. That you only feel happy when you're making somebody else happy? You only feel good when you're making somebody else feel good and that energy is boomerang to you? Child, no. I'm letting go and letting God because baby sis is tired. I think we hear that and we don't understand the essence of that. We don't understand the essence of letting go and letting God. Because let me tell you what the flip side of that is. The flip side of that is that some of y'all, you're in the way. You're in God's way. And you tired. You want to let go and let God because I'm tired. I'm just done. Well, it's really, some of that is you in the way. You're in God's way. You're in the way. You're in the way. Because how do you think, listen, y'all tell me how much you've learned from things going great, from things going well. How much did you learn from that? How much has it shaped your character when you go through things and it's good? When you experience the highs, what do you learn from experiencing the highs in life? How does it shape your character from experiencing the highs? Compared to having to figure your way through the growing pains, figuring your way through the lows, how that shapes your character. From being put in certain circumstances and having to figure it out. How has that shaped your character compared to it's the highs in life? You tell me. So you have somebody that you love. If you can say, yeah, I learned so much about myself. If you can't say that, I'm going to come back to that. I learned so much about myself when I had to struggle, when I had to figure it out, when I was under certain circumstances. I learned so much about myself. It shaped my character. Why would you seek to keep someone from going through the lessons that were created from them so that it could shape their character and they could learn? Why are you seeking to save them from that? Why are you seeking to keep them from what God may be trying to put them through? You in the way. So some of it is I'm going to let go and let God. I'm going to let go because I need to go figure out my own shit. Because if I'm trying to save them because of my past experiences, have I truly reconciled? Do I truly get the learning lessons that I was supposed to learn? Because I'm over here trying to save somebody from feeling how I felt when I was a kid. And what I'm doing is creating a whole nother set of problems. I'm creating a whole nother set of problems. Trying to save somebody from feeling or experiencing what I experienced as a kid or what I experienced in the past. I'm setting up a whole new set of problems for them. Trying to save them from something that was my experience. I'm trying to save them from my feelings that I'm probably still feeling to this day. That I truly have not reconciled for myself. So I'm seeking to save somebody else from it. That's a projection. You're trying to save yourself. You're trying to save you. You're trying to save you. This person has their own life and their own experiences. You don't have to save them from feeling what you felt or experiencing what you experienced. You need to save yourself. You need to save you. And get out of God's way. You tired and God's like, I bet you is. I bet you is. Look at you. In my way again. God looking down like, look at you. You are in my way again. I'm trying to work in this person's life and you keep saving them from me. You keep saving them from the challenges I created for them when I made them to shape their character. To bring their self full circle. You keep saving them. Move and go deal with your feelings and go deal with the experiences that you've lived. Go deal with that. Move out the way and go deal with your feelings. Move out of the way and go deal with yourself. Move out of the way and go deal with your own life. Go deal with your own life. I got this. I got this. So you saying, I'm going to let go and let God. God has been telling you, I got it. I got it. And they're going to have to trust me enough to learn that they have it for themselves. Just like you have to let go and understand that you got it for you. Child. Okay. We need to finish this year in a wellness mentality. We absolutely do. We absolutely do. I'll be perfectly honest. I understood this shift. I've understood this shift for a while. But I understood timing. Timing was a real thing. But I have shifted my entire business for this very reason. Like I said last week, it's great. Working out is fantastic. I think it's a great thing. But it's also the easiest part of the work. And it's also an easy way to bypass the real work. So I totally agree with you, friend. Times to get uncomfortable to reach goals. You know, and not even to necessarily reach the goals. What I've experienced or understood over this year is that we need to go toward and not even just experience the discomfort. Some of y'all need to go toward it. You need to go to the discomfort. Not just, if this is your comfort zone, not just get outside of it. I need you to go seek the discomfort. Go seek the very things that make you uncomfortable. And it ain't got nothing to do with a goal. It has everything to do with you. Go seek the discomfort so that you can get yourself together. Go do the hard shit so that you can get yourself together. Go get you together. I would not come on here and lie to y'all. I would not come on here and lie to y'all. I would not. The discomfort is not about goals. The discomfort is about you. The discomfort is about you. The goal is the goal. The goal is the goal. Either you reach it or you don't. There's nothing uncomfortable or discomfort in the goal. It's discomfort in how you're going to get there. And how I'm going to get there. Me. How am I in my own way of reaching a goal? What I got to do? Who I got to be? What I got to do? Go seek the discomfort. Don't just get outside your comfort zone. Because some of y'all get outside your comfort zone and you just go find another one. You get outside your current comfort zone and just go find another one. Some of y'all get outside your comfort zone and you go do some crazy shit. Go seek the discomfort. Go get yourself together. Go get yourself together. Okay? Let me scroll on. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Woo! I'm so happy that I'm a recovered people pleaser. I'm trying to tell you, you ain't got no peace. You ain't got no peace. You might feel it from time to time, but it's not a state that you can live in with people. Child, people pleasing. My God, I want y'all to leave that. I want y'all, if you still in the posture of people pleasing, I want you to mindfully and intentionally work towards undoing this every single day. Every single day. Every single day. And if you don't know how to do that, this is where you enlist help. You enlist help. You don't have all the answers and you can't do it by yourself, and that's okay. That is 100% okay. Enlist some help. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. Sometimes we try to be a healer and heal situations that we aren't meant to treat through. Yeah, I think a lot of us, we don't know where the hell we're supposed to be. So we trying to be, you know what? I'm glad you said that. For a lot of us, you do not know. It's several things. It's a couple things. Let's talk about the first thing. The first thing is you don't know where you're supposed to be. You don't know where you're supposed to be. Okay? So you find yourself either everywhere or anywhere. You don't know. I firmly believe that there are some things and some people in this world that we were assigned to. We were assigned to these things. We were assigned to help these people. And for some of us, your gauge is off. So you actually don't know where you're supposed to be, because some of us are in certain seasons within ourselves. We are in a certain posture. We are in a certain condition that we may not be best suited to help the people that we were made to help. We're not even ready to help our assignments because we probably just need to be somebody else's assignment for some time. We need to understand whose assignment and am I, so I can get my shit together and I can go out and discern where I'm supposed to be putting myself and where I'm not, who I'm supposed to be helping and who I'm not, because everybody ain't your damn assignment. But when you don't know, when you are not clear, when your spirit is not together, when you cannot discern, when you don't know how to listen to yourself, when you aren't tapped into your inner guide, to your intuition, to source, to the well of where you even got this intuition from the well of where you got this assignment from, when you are not connected to that and you are not good, you everywhere. You want to help everybody except for the people you're supposed to help. You everywhere except for where you're supposed to be. You find yourself anywhere where you can't discern. Yeah, I could help here, but I don't know if I'm supposed to. Yeah, I could do that, but I don't know if that's my assignment. And if you don't know how to seek the guidance. You just do it because you can fix it. It may not be your job. Child. I feel so righteously attacked, and I needed it because this is hitting me right dead in the center. Okay, I heard you. Listen. You ain't have to get me together like that. Yes, I did. I sure did. Wow. Let God be the parent / father to this particular child that he knows because he created them. The help / saving them from is supposed to be perceived as showing up as loving. Let me tell you something, child. Listen. Listen. Planting the seed so you can have a breakthrough and grow. I went to the rest session this morning and I talked about how we have to excavate, how you have to do the deep dive of introspection, of understanding yourself, of, you know what, before I say that, I'm gonna say this because someone said it to me. Someone said something to me and it gave me this thought, and I thought it was so accurate because it has been a part of my experience, and I think also a part of my exhaustion as a coach, as a guide, as a I don't know if I consider myself a healer. I don't know if I've taken on that title. I'm very, very particular about how I describe my doing in the world. I don't know if I've taken on the title of healer. I don't know, because I look at that a certain type of way. But I was in conversation with someone and I talked to them, and it brought up this thought, and I said, you know what? I really feel like this is the essence of why I've been so tired. Because let me tell y'all, for some of y'all, your coach, your therapist, your trainer, your mentor, your guides, whatever, your pastor, whoever it is, for some of y'all, they are exhausted. Your trainer is tired. Your coach is tired. Your healer is tired. Because unless all of these are Jesus and they're not actually in human form, they could be experiencing exhaustion. You want to know why? Because they're having to work more than what they should to get you to where you need to be. They're having to work more than what they should have to work to get you to where you need to be. You want to know why? Because when you aren't doing the work, we're having to figure out, okay, cool. So what do I have to do? I have to have more conversations. I have to talk more. I have to coach more. I have to lean in more because I genuinely have a heart to help people. Now, what's going on when this person isn't holding up their end of the bargain? When you come to your therapist and you are not holding up your end of the bargain, you're coming to your therapist. They're giving you the tools. They're giving you the perspective. They're giving you the things. And then when it's your turn to take the baton and go back to your life and change certain things, and you don't, when it comes your turn to do the work and you don't, what happens? You got to go back to your therapist and we got to do the same leg work again. We have to do the same leg work again. We have to work. We have to have the same conversation We got to do the same digging. We are losing energy to things where we should be executing and then moving on to the next stage of growth. We're losing energy in the process because only one person is holding up their end. Your therapist is holding up their end, but you're not. Your coach is holding up their end, but you're not. Your trainer is holding up their end, but you're not. And if you have a genuine one, they're going to come to you and inquire, what's going on? What's the problem? Just to hear the same thing. Okay, cool. So let's cross the same bridge again. Let me come to you. We've talked about this 5 times already, but let's cross the bridge a 6th time. We've already done this, but let's do it again because something is not clicking. We're missing something. Where are we missing it? And they're putting in a lot of effort to help you put the pieces together, to help you understand how to connect the dots. But you aren't genuinely decided and intentionally trying to connect them for yourself. So guess what? Your therapist got to do more legwork. All right. Well, what's going on? Here's the action plan. You aren't executing. Here's the plan. You aren't executing. Here's the blueprint. You're not executing. Here are the tools. You're not building. Here's the perspective. Here's the hard thing. You won't do it. So guess what? Your guides are tired. Your guides are tired. They're not guides anymore. They're not guides anymore. They're having to labor in a way that takes them out of the posture they're supposed to be in to help you. And guess what it do? It exhausts energy over here where they could be applying that to help someone else that needs them. They could be helping a second assignment, but they're putting so much energy over here to offset the work you're not doing that they don't have any more capacity for anyone else. I ain't gonna park the car right there. I don't even know why we went over there. Somebody comment. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the comments. I have a problem with the season part of my assignments. The connection and call is so potent that I get thrown when the time is up. Bells start alarming like, wait, what? You know what? I'm so glad that you said this because that is so real. That is so real. And I think that I'm saying that it's so real because that's what I have been experiencing with my own life. Transitions, when we understand where we have to transition, can be very tough. And I think it's about, I know for me, I had to give it the proper perspective where I had to not look at something as quitting as something that is quitting. I think that's the biggest thing. I really had to understand that I had to understand and accept that there is a time and a place for everything, and not just for the thing that I'm working with. There's also a time and a place for me. And just as my season is up with this thing, that means that a new season is coming for me, and really allowing room for completion and job well done with things. And sometimes it's not always a job well done. Sometimes it's completion because how can I frame this? Sometimes we're in places, especially with people and with things and with businesses and with places that we were supposed to be there for a particular reason, for a lesson, for some type of growth that we were supposed to do. And then it's time for us to move. Our turn in this space is done. And I know for me, what ultimately helps with that is that I believe in the idea of impermanence, where I know that as a ever-changing, ever-growing being, that I understand that how I need to plant my roots and where I need to plant them. I have to understand, just like when you have a plant that is in a pot and it grows and its roots, you have to repot a plant because it has outgrown the current plant that it's in. We're the same. We cannot seek to be too deeply rooted in a space when we're growing and we're healing and we're moving and we're shifting. We're constantly, sometimes we're not actually, we're constantly given invitations to grow and to shift and to pivot. And when we accept them, when we understand that I have to water myself and I have to grow and I have to shift, that also comes with an understanding that when I've outgrown a pot, I have to be willing. And not that I won't feel some type of way about it, that's okay. I have to be willing to go into pots that can fit me, to go into spaces that can hold me. Because what that means is that this season has done what it's supposed to do in some instances. It ain't always the case, but in sometimes it is the case. It's just that we can't see it because of our feelings. This space has done what it's needed to do. It has run its course. It's done. And I was literally talking about this morning because I was feeling this past week where it's like, can you imagine? Maybe you can't imagine. I'll say this for myself. Can you imagine? Think about this. When you are growing and you are evolving, we have to literally look at the season that you're in like that pot. Can you imagine the discomfort that you begin to feel with every part of your being pressed up against the edges and the corners of this pot that you are outgrowing? Can you imagine the dysfunction that starts to ensue because you are insistent on staying in something that is old or too small or something that is outdated? Can you imagine the discomfort? Can you imagine the dysfunction? Can you imagine the exhaustion of having, I literally described it like this the other day when I was talking about it and how I was feeling. I don't know how long y'all have had iPhones or who have iPhones. Some people have Androids, and God bless y'all. Some people have Androids, and that's okay. If you remember, it's okay, Android users, no shame. But if you can remember, I can remember having an iPhone, maybe like an iPhone. I had like an iPhone 12 or something. And then when iOS 15, when the iOS 15 software came out, I ran into the issue of this software can't even fit on this phone. The software can only go up to 14 point whatever that phone could fit. When they sent out updated software, you want to know what they told me? To have this software, you need a new phone. This new software can't fit. It can't be housed in this phone. And that's how I explained it. I said, I feel like I've been updated. I've been recalibrated. I've been realigned. That's what growing and healing will do. Growing and healing will realign you. It will recalibrate you as to where you feel extreme discomfort when you're trying to stay somewhere that does not fit. You're trying to stay somewhere that's not aligned with where you are now, with who you are now, with the growing and healing you've been doing. Where you are does not fit that. It's only up to a certain point of your being that fits in the space that you're in the season that you've been in. This new growing that you've been doing, this healing that you've been doing, it don't fit over here. It doesn't fit in the season that you're trying to cling to. It doesn't fit to this relationship you're trying to stay in. It doesn't fit this job that you won't leave. The growing you've been doing, this is why you feeling the discomfort. This is why you uncomfortable. This is why you tired. This is gonna be why you exhausted. This is outdated. You've updated. You've updated. This hardware cannot fit the software. You are the software. The hardware of this life that you've been living cannot fit the new software that you've updated to. Look at that pun. The hardship, the hardware of this life cannot fit the software that you've become, that you've healed and grown into. It can't fit. It can't fit. It cannot fit. And I don't know if that resonates with any of y'all, but that's how I felt. I said, oh, you know what? I feel like when my phone told me that the software can be downloaded here, that this hardware can't even house the sophistication, the newness, the intricacies, the complexity, because complexity isn't always bad. The vastness, the expansion that this software has, this phone can't hold it. This phone does not have the hardware to hold the new shit. You see what I'm saying? Okay. All right. Let me go to the comments before we hang up. Oh, wait. Oh, shit. What is this? Oh, wow. Oh, okay. I didn't know what that was doing. Okay. Let me scroll bite. Because I know that I be going off on tangents. Okay, tangents. Okay, wait, here we go. All right, yup, got it. Man, I felt that. Let's cross the same bridge again. Listen. Let me tell you. Stop losing energy. Stop losing time. Stop losing your effort. Stop losing your energy when you are not in a place to be decided and mindful about what you're doing. What's going to end up happening, is that you're going to keep losing little pockets of energy, little pockets of time, little pockets of effort every day on your journey when you haven't really committed. And then before you know it, you're going to look up 3 months later and be like, damn, I'm not closer to my goal. I'm not closer. How does this work? Because you spent 3 months crossing the same bridge. You spent 3 months exerting energy to cross the same bridge. Because what happens is that, you put in the energy and the effort to cross the bridge, but what did I learn when I was crossing the bridge? Have I used this as an experience to grow and to learn, and then my intention be to cross the next one? Or am I just caught in a person who's just in the routine of something? This is what we call bypass. You're just in the routine of showing up. You're just in the routine of showing up. The bridge, I cross it, I'm back at the beginning. I cross the bridge again, I'm back at the beginning. You in this routine to where what this bridge, crossing this bridge and learning could be doing for me, I'm bypassing it because I'm not paying attention. I'm bypassing it because I'm not locked in. I'm bypassing it because I'm not intentional. I'm not mindful. I'm just in the routine of showing up. Showing up, that has in the journey of growth and in that process, showing up loses its sting after the beginning. Showing up is just the beginning. So showing up is going to get you some credit when you start. It's not going to get you much further in your process. Showing up is just the beginning. Child. All right. Sometimes the sun dies and even sunflowers have to sit in the rain. Instead of picking the flower to save it from the storm, realize that the rain is fundamental to its growth. All of that sounds great. I think all of it sounds great. It sounds fantastic. It sounds fantastic. It really, truly does. It really, truly does. Ooh, we that proud of feeling like you're giving up or giving in. Yeah. It definitely was a little bit of that, but at the same time, I had to give it the proper perspective. And what I had to do was ask myself, where did you get the thought of you going with the flow of things and letting this be done and letting this be a job well done? Where did you get the thought that this was giving up? Where did you get the thought that this was giving in? Where did you get the thought that this was quitting? Where did you get that? And is that yours? Is that what you truly believe? Not what you think. Because I had to tell some people this morning, you are not what you think. So not if this is what you think, is this what you believe? Do you believe this? Then when I challenged the thought and asked myself, do I believe this? The answer was no. Did I think it? Yes. Did I believe it? No. Because thinking and believing are two very different things. The thought came up, but it was not in alignment with what I believe, because I knew better. Because what you think and what you know and what you believe, listen, it's layers to this shit. It's layers to this. I'm trying to tell y'all. This is exactly why I had to shift in my business and say, you know what, let's get into self-mastery and help the people understand. Let's build this cohort so that we can really get it. Because what you think, what you know, and what you believe, and what you trust, and what you have faith in, baby, it's layers to this thing. Do you hear me? Okay. All right. I'm just letting y'all know. Folks trying to run a Windows 95 and a Windows 11, trying to tell you. Y'all don't be hearing me. Okay? Y'all don't be hearing me. Cannot handle the newness. Trying to tell y'all. I love y'all, friends. I really do. I love y'all. Okay? We're going to get ourselves together. Somebody mentioned about the rest of this year being dedicated to wellness. And I don't know if we understand just how critical that is. Like a lot of the time, you don't understand how critical your wellness is. Or even the state of your wellness until you go to the doctor. You know, when you think you feel fine, but you also have never understood what feeling fine or feeling good actually is. You have just made the state that you're in, because this is what you felt for so long, that this is good. I feel good. I feel fine. But that's not really what's going on. You go to the doctor and they tell you, well, goddamn, you got high blood pressure, your blood sugar high as hell, you're ashy, your clothes don't fit. When they tell you all that, you don't understand the state of your being until you understand it. That's where a lot of us are. You don't know the current state that you're in because you're in the mess. You're in the chaos. You're in the dysfunction. You're in the noise. You're in the habits and behaviors. You don't know until you step out. Not the AC, Lord. Not the AC unit. Okay, praise the Lord. But you don't understand. You do not understand the state that you're in until you step out and somebody give you perspective. Well, do you notice? Do you know that this is what I see? Do you know that this is what is coming off? Do you understand the energy? It's a lot of noise. I'm going in the house, because listen to me. I'm sick of these damn folks out here. I'm sick of these cicadas. I'm sick of this goddamn AC. But I'm glad that the AC working, because it's hot as hell outside. And it's ashy and your clothes don't fit. And all that. Let me come in this damn house. Because listen. And let me burn my damn incense. Because they went out. I'm going to light these guys back up. Listen, and if y'all don't know how to set some vibes in your home, because some of y'all don't have no peace in your house, okay? I told my mama, I said, girl, you can't come up here. You got too much of an attitude. I have peace in my house. You can't set them vibes. You ain't got no vibes in your house. You hear my boy playing? Y'all don't understand. I be at home chilling. And I be at home chilling for a reason. Listen, you let these folks stress you out. I'm gonna turn some lights on. My house a little dirty. I don't want y'all judging me. I'm gonna sit right here on the corner. Right here on the corner of this couch. But y'all love y'all. Okay? I love y'all. You know what? Close your screen on the bottom. Thank you. Because them flies, them cicadas going to try to come in. But I love y'all, friends. I really do. Y'all have a good ass day. Have a good ass weekend. Okay? Burn your incense. Burn your sage. Because some of y'all need to sage your space. Because I know y'all hear about sage and people be selling sage and burning sage and people don't even understand what the hell they're doing. They don't even understand how to do it properly. Listen, when I tell y'all the rest of this year is about wellness, I feel it in my spirit. How I live my life is such a vibe at times. I am human, so shit be happening. I be in my feelings sometimes, but how I live my life is such a vibe. And I want to teach y'all how to do the same thing. Okay? So if you had to listen, the rest session was good this morning. We vibed out. We had our meditation time. We had our time to rest. Some folks fell asleep. That's how you do. If you ain't made it to a rest session, if you ain't made it to a healing experience or the retreats or whatever, and I'm going to start this self-mastery program in the fall once I am in a complete space of letting things be a job well done, I advise you to do it. Unless you don't want to be blessed, unless you don't want to vibe, unless you want to stay in the chaos. And some of us are attached to the chaos and we don't understand. Some of us are deeply, deeply attached to the highs and lows of our emotions, to the chaos and to the dysfunction. We are so complicit in our lack of joy and our lack of peace, we don't even understand. Okay? But for those that get it, for those that understand, come see me. Come see me. You won't be able to come see me for personal training much longer. I'll just put that out there. But you can come see me so that you can get yourself together. And you can go to the gym, work out on your own. Working out is easy. Getting yourself together is the hard part. I love y'all. Okay. Yes. This is your year to be well and to be as well as you possibly can. Be well as you possibly can. Because when I tell you, life is going to always life. Life has always lived. Things are always going to happen. But how well are you suited to be able to maneuver through the shit? That's what this is about. But I love y'all. I absolutely love y'all. Slide past what? Love you back. You unpacked a lot. If anything that I said in this live resonated with you, please send me a DM. I would love to create a space for you guys to chat through this further. Post it on your story if somebody could relate to it. Anything that's set on your spirit that resonated in your heart, post it to your story. Tag me in it so that I can see it, so that we can continue to send out the tentacles of awareness, of healing, of growth, of perspective. Like sometimes you just need a perspective, a new way to see something, and it can open you up to so much. But I love y'all. Okay? You just can't slide past that. You know, it's all right. Conversations are coming. Just know. I love y'all. Have a good weekend, and I will see y'all. Yeah, listen. Yes, all about Quilla. Thank you. And I know that, is that Shaq? Open up your windows, doors, burn the sage to get rid of any negative energy, then follow up with some Palo Santo. Yeah, because when we talked about detoxing, in the same vein, we're oftentimes in a hurry to expel or get rid of certain things without understanding what we need to replace those things with. So for most people who only burn sage, you're burning the sage to get rid of things, but what are you replacing those things with? And you can't just burn it. You got to burn it in a certain type of way. So we're going to get into all that. Okay? I love you guys. Have a good ass weekend. And I will see you next week.